Today I'm going to be speaking about 3 reasons why free will is a myth. It's important to understand that you probably won't immediately accept this idea right away. It certainly didn't sit well with me when I first heard about it. In fact, on this very channel, I posted a video a few years ago about why I believe free will does exist. I was speaking specifically about predestination, and I still don't believe predestination exists, or fate, or anyone who says, oh, you were meant to be with this person, everything happens for a reason. That's all nonsense. But the more research I did on the specific topic of free will, the more I came to understand that it doesn't exactly make sense. So before I get into the 3 reasons, I want to make a couple things clear about free will. The first thing is you're probably thinking that I'm arguing you can't make choices. In a way, I am arguing this. However, your life can change in a positive way. And you can come to make different decisions than you were previously at a time in your life. And your mind can adapt. So the choices you make will change and you can become a better person. The second thing I want to make clear of is to properly define free will. Free will is this idea that you have the ability to influence your thoughts and decisions. So, with those 2 things out of the way, I'll get right into the reasons. The first reason, I believe free will does not exist, and I'll try to demonstrate it with a bit of a thought experiment, so bear with me here. What I want you to do is think of a few numbers, as many as you'd like. Think of them randomly, in whichever way you'd like to think of them. And take note of the numbers as you think of them. So, if you pay very close attention to what's going on in your brain, you'll notice that you're not actually choosing the numbers that appear. The numbers are doing just that. They're just appearing in your mind. If you remember the second number you thought of, there's no reason that you can sufficiently explain why you thought of that number second rather than first. Not only that, but the numbers appearing in your mind have as much meaning to you as if I was the one saying the numbers and you were just listening. So, in order to really be able to choose your thoughts, you would have to have more information than you possibly could. In other words, you would have to be able to know what you're going to think of ahead of time and decide whether or not you'd like to think of it. This, to me, is exactly where free will falls apart. If you can at least get an understanding of this experiment, you'll realize, if you pay close attention, this is the way your thoughts, and maybe even many of your actions, are just random brain activity that's being provoked and caused by background causes, such as your environment, or what's going on with you in that present moment. So this will lead us into the second reason. The second reason why free will is a myth is that all of the tools your brain has in order to make a decision, such as genetics, such as family, your past experiences, your current environment, your education, the values you've held all your lives, the values maybe you've just recently come to appreciate, the opinions you've made, all of these things that your brain uses to decide on every little thing you do, you have no control over. It's important to understand this. Nothing your brain uses to make decisions involves control. Open up a psychology textbook, any psychology textbook ever published, and you'll read about these background causes, biology, neurology, all of these things that are causing you and your brain to think certain ways. Nowhere in that textbook will you ever find anything about free will. I consider free will as this idea that beyond all of these background causes that we know to exist, there's this additional ability to take the thing your brain has decided on and change it or come up with something else. So I don't think that's possible. Let's think of, think of anything. Think of a type of clothing. Think of a TV show. Maybe you think of a TV show that you like, but why didn't you think of a TV show that you didn't like? There's no particular reason why it was more advantageous for you to think of that rather than something else. And if it is to your advantage to think a certain way, then your brain most likely will choose that way. You don't have control over that. So, my third reason ties into the second, in that just because you're consciously aware of the things you're doing and the thoughts you have, doesn't give you any control over them. I'll make a comparison to unconscious action. You put your hand on a hot stove, you yank it away. Someone hits your knee in the right way, and your leg kicks out. Your heartbeat. All of those things are examples of unconscious bodily functions, and things that naturally our brain has come to do on its own, without our conscious awareness. There's actually millions of things that your brain has control over that you're unaware of. But the thing that's controlling those things that you're not aware of is exactly identical to the thing that is controlling the things you are aware of. That's the assimilation that I make between unconscious behavior and conscious behavior. It's being controlled by the same thing. And just because you're aware of something doesn't mean that you're able to influence the thing that's controlling it, which is your brain, which is your environment, which is all of the background causes that I spoke of earlier. There's no additional ability to control that. And so that's the end of my reasons. If you'd like to do some further research, I recommend the book called Free Will by Sam Harris. Sam Harris has also made many YouTube videos and spoken publicly about this. So if you just search up his name and free will, you'll find plenty of material on this topic, much further than what I've spoken about today. Thanks for watching.